many people have shared stories of the noble character that personified Daniel. He was a gentle, sacrificing soul so commonly demonstrated in many of his dealings with his friends and complete strangers. I'll share one brief summary of a few stories. It has a common theme that we've found in so many accounts that people have shared with us over these horrible years since we were robbed of Daniel. We've had 3 different young ladies tell us very similar stories that remind you of the courage and character of a modern-day knight would demonstrate. None of these young people knew of each other. They were from different communities. Daniel had been invited and attended various school dances over the high school years. Each was held at their respective schools around Lake County. The invitations were through friends he had met through different youth groups that he regularly attended. The young ladies that shared these stories were strangers to us and initially Daniel as well. These were the variety of girls that a segment of our society does not put up as popular. The fact is, Daniel noticed them because they were being picked on and or mocked. He went to each of them and asked them to dance. He shared words with them that helped them understand they did not get their self-worth or value from those who would bully or tear them down. He was not a great dancer by any stretch of imagination. Inherited from his father, I'm sure. He's neither someone who would like to draw attention to himself, but in typical Daniel fashion, he took the girls to the center of the dance floor. He made them feel like the most important person in the room. And though he most likely would not meet these young ladies again, he left them with some important feelings to build on. Remember, this was 3 separate occasions over several years, and these are just the events we know of. In contrast, you have before you someone who has made a career of taking from others. What he did that night was not an isolated event. It was not the effect of a night out on drugs or lapse in judgment. It was the result of a heart that became so dark and consumed with its own pleasure that nothing was beyond his taking. You see this person was the one who would be the one who bullies someone to the limit. He's the type who made people feel like they had no value. He not only takes pleasure in others' pain and suffering, he delivers it. Most of us can't imagine how someone could be capable of such a horrific and brutal attack. Daniel had several $100s in cash on him that night. There was no attempt to take it. He didn't have a scratch on him other than from a pipe to his head. This was not an attempt to rough someone up that progressed and got out of control. The intent from the beginning was to kill our son.
You attacked Daniel for no reason. You're responsible for the worst imaginable pain. The pain of helplessly watching a beloved son try to come out of the prison of a brain injury.
If you could raise your voice, son, please.
For 3 weeks of a hellish nightmare in the hospital, only to be followed by the surreal fact of making funeral arrangements for our 17-year-old and seeing our family's pain displayed on the front page of the paper. A lifetime of remembering the excellent son you took from us. You went on for 3 years and slept and ate and went to work knowing that you killed our son. He never did anything to you. You gave yourself and your soul over to evil. Hebrews 4:13 says, "No creature is hidden from his sight, but all are naked and exposed to the eyes of him to whom we must give an account." All sin is ultimately against God, and yet he's not willing that any should perish. I don't know if someone like you, a coward who's made savagely intimidating and attacking unarmed people they didn't even know into a form of recreation, I don't know if you can feel remorse. I do hope you're not so dead inside that you can't. I hope that crushing regret comes to you, not pitying self-regret for being caught and imprisoned, but true, horrible, honest pain over how your choices have ruined lives. You've given us a life sentence of loss that will never be undone. The inestimable loss of Daniel, but also a loss of innocence. That you're no longer a free man in this world and that you can no longer hurt others is the only consolation I have from these proceedings.